Hello. I thought I'd talk today about the New York Times article about this UFO video that has been released by the Department of Defense in the USA. And what a load of rubbish it is, in my view. Now, people like Neil deGrasse Tyson have ridiculed the video, but not really explained why it's so stupid. Okay, so I'm going to spell it out, basically. But first, what's it all about? Okay, the Pentagon has admitted that it had up until a couple of years ago anyway, a $22 million UFO studying program where they would look at anomalies and try and figure them out. Okay, I mean, it's a pathetic amount of money. And it also, in admitting that, of course, they thereby also admit that their previous denials were lies. Okay, so not for the first time has the US government been caught lying to people. Okay, fine. We rather expect it these days. It's one of those times, isn't it? I mean, actually, probably that's always been the case throughout history. At least now we know about it. It doesn't change it, but there you go. So, what's the story with this video? Okay, when I heard about this, I thought, well, strange. I went and read the article. I'll put the link to it below. And I thought, okay, so they've got this program, and they've got this video, but something doesn't look right about it. I'll show you the video in a minute, or part of it. Now, just from a point of view of science, for something to really be a UFO, it has to be pretty convincing, because the science kind of points against alien spaceships being around, as far as we know. Obviously, we know that science doesn't know everything, by a long way. But what it does know, it's pretty solid about, mostly. I think they're wrong on materialism, and they don't understand the importance of consciousness, which is weird, but there you go. But there are some things which I think we can be fairly confident about, and that is that if intelligent aliens exist in our 4D space-time universe and don't have access to ESP portals, wormholes and things like that, then it's going to be really tough for them to get here. Okay. And indeed, the only way they could probably communicate with primitive creatures like us without actually being here would be to use something like ESP, because it would have to use our natural biology. And of course, science isn't quite certain about ESP. There is good scientific evidence that it exists, but it's really weak. And we have no real knowledge of how to control it, either. Possibly the ancient shamans knew more, but we don't, in the modern era. And for aliens to be visiting us using conventional means, that is, means consistent with Einstein's theory of relativity, they would have to be really close. You know, maybe on a nearby star system, and that's about it, a few light years away at most. But the rare Earth hypothesis, which is probably the most likely to be true of the various ways of calculating how common intelligent aliens are in the universe, and I've done a video about it. You can always look it up. Alphatucana rare Earth hypothesis. It'll get you everything. Indicates that there can't be very many like us in the universe. There may be some, but not many. And if there's not many, the odds of them being close to us are billions to one against. And you can go into the whole argument. There's trillions of stars, but when the odds are billions to one against, you're still not going to get very many. Okay. In fact, the odds are trillions to one against. So there you go. A trillion planets with trillion to one against odds means you might get one. You know, it's rather like that. Anyway, shall we look at the video and see what you think? Okay. Okay, so here's the article. So let's take a quick look at the video. First of all, notice that the object is essentially stationary with respect to the camera lens. Whereas the background, of course, jiggles as the plane jiggles. This is jiggling with the camera lens, if anything. In other words, it's stuck on the lens. It's an insect or something sitting on the lens. Watch also the lighting as the camera lens rotates and focuses. The lighting rotates as well as the object. Did you see that? Try again. Just look around here at the top. You can see the whole thing is rotating. So it's something like a fly stuck on the lens. I hope that's clear. You can go to the Times article, I'll put the link below, and you can watch it at your leisure. It's pretty obvious that it's a fly or something like that sitting on the lens, or a bit of fluff in the camera's optics. So there you have it. Now that was shown under fair use rules, i.e. I was showing excerpts from it for the sake of commentary and criticism. And it's pretty much a parody of what a UFO video is like, actually. Absolute rubbish, okay. And I mean, I looked at it first and I thought, that's interesting, but there's something wrong. And it was the fact that that object was really solidly fixed in the picture. No camera could track an object that well. Okay, not even on an F-18 Hornet, right? I think you can see plainly it's something on the lens, or something stuck in the optics of the camera. A bit of fluff or something, right? It's technically an unidentified flying object, because we don't know what it is, and it's attached to a plane, so it's flying. Personally, I think it's Freddy Fly. Or it could be his brother Louis the Fly. Straight from rubbish tip to you. Yeah, okay. But why, then, has the Pentagon decided to release this obviously fake or rubbish video of a UFO? Now, the internet, in the shape of people like the Disclosure Project, Tom DeLonge and all this lot, are going on about disclosure, that the secret cabal that want to rule the world are going to gradually release more and more credible UFO information. This is not credible, of course. With a view to faking an alien attack against the Earth in a few years' time. 2019, is it? Or 2029, something like that. So that they can persuade everybody to join in together in a one-world government to defend us against the aliens. And they'll use the advanced technology which they've reverse-engineered from captured alien spacecraft in order to fake the attack. Convincingly. Produce this one-world, non-democratic government. And that's it for freedom, okay? That's the conspiracy theory. Like we don't have such a government already, apparently. Well, it's certainly a logical theory, okay? They release this, and they're going to pretend that there are real UFOs, and they're going to attack the Earth, and all this, right? Okay. Is there another explanation? Why would the Pentagon release such a video? Well, put yourself in the position of the guy sitting in the office. His job is to examine UFO sightings and see what to make of them and if there's anything in them, right? And these pilots send this picture it. Look at this, awesome, look, wow, I had no idea. How could it accelerate so fast? Right. He looks at it and he thinks, what's this? This is rubbish. There's a fly stuck on the lens, for God's sake. Classified it as junk, chuck it in a drawer, right? Okay. A few years later, the Freedom of Information laws come around and say, hey guys, got any junk that we can release? We can declassify any old rubbish? And he goes, oh yeah, we got a whole drawer full of it. Take it. And so it is declassified. Why? Because it's junk. If it was serious, do you think it would be declassified? Really? It's junk, and that's why it's in the public domain now. Okay? Plain enough, I hope. I could go on about it, but it's probably not worth it. When you see UFO videos on the internet, look at them closely. Look for correlated lighting changes which suggest there's a filter in front of the lens or something like that. Look for density filters where you get part of the image looking darker than the other, and you often see a band across in some videos. Remember CGI as possible. And you get idiocy like this. We're told that pilots are trained observers. I hope this video disabuses you of that nonsense. These guys obviously either faked it or just didn't have a clue. Doesn't really matter which. But it's interesting that the internet is not talking about the junk videos being released theory that I've just proposed. Because of course they don't stand to make any money if they do that. These people want to keep on selling books to mugs. As P.T. Barnum once said, never give a sucker an even break. And it is an unfortunate fact of capitalism and human nature that there's a lot of money to be made out of suckers. And there are plenty of people who know exactly what they're doing, who can talk up rubbish. And sure, intelligent, skeptical people will look at it, think it's rubbish, drop it. But unintelligent, open-minded people can be cajoled into parting with their money. Time and time again. And I recommend you don't subscribe to channels which talk obvious garbage and which promote obvious garbage. That's my suggestion. I do suggest you subscribe to my channel. I'm kind of like a scientist. I'm dedicated to finding the truth. Just remember that most people who are into making money, and the Department of Defence and the politicians, are not dedicated to finding the truth. Science is. It often fails, but at least they try. And indeed there are fakers there too. It's just human nature combined with greed, which is part of human nature. And we've got to be careful. We've got to look for good, solid evidence. There's lots of maybes and might be's and so on. It's not really good enough. A lot of people have had strange, very strange experiences. What they mean, we don't know. We can speculate, but we don't know. And we should not treat speculation as fact. And a lot of what is presented as evidence is junk like this. Being published uncritically in the New York Times, Newsweek, Politico, Rolling Stone. They know that there are plenty of mugs out there who will go to their website and maybe even buy a subscription to their stupid papers. Okay. I'm urging people to go and read the article. It's okay. You know, why not? See for yourself how it's done. Okay, to try and immunise yourself against this junk. Okay, that's my theory. Okay, bye for now.